Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the January 15th, 2025 meeting of the Commission on Human Rights for the City of Albany. The meeting will come to order at 6:01 p.m. I will now call the roll. I am present. Vice Chair Young Wilkins.
Present.
Secretary is not here right now. Commissioner Valerie Alexander Mosley.
Present.
Commissioner Natisha Alexander.
Present.
Commissioner Evers, not here at the moment. Commissioner Rosie Love.
Present.
We also have with us Melanie Woodward.
Present.
We have Katrina Hodge.
Present.
And we also have Raisi Mobley.
Present.
And Autumn Thorman.
Present.
Thank you. All right, we will begin with the approval of the December minutes, which were previously sent out. I will entertain a motion to adopt those minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Young Wilkins.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Love. All in favor of adopting the December minutes as previously sent out, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening? We do not. Seeing none, we will move on to we don't have old business, so seeing none, we will move on to new business. We will start with the annual report for 2024. So we do have a draft report that was put together and also sent out. Autumn got us that earlier last week, I believe. I'm not sure if everybody's had a chance to review it. It looks really good and does detail what we've been doing over the past year. I did notice just one thing that I wanted to add into it. I'm going to take care of that. I don't know if anybody else had any comments or questions or concerns, or if Autumn wanted to speak to it, or...
Not at all. I'm here for whatever revisions, changes you need. I didn't see anything, but I looked at it really quickly, so.
Yeah, I thought this was really good in detail, and it really did help me with the letter that I needed to write, so thank you.
Excellent, you're welcome.
So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the 2024 annual report with the one revision, which just adds in the fact that we assisted with the Toys for Tots giveaway. It has been moved by Commissioner
Alexander Mosley.
And seconded by Commissioner Alexander. Is there any discussion?
Yes, are we going to include the date for when it's going to be submitted to that, actual just X's in that area?
Date will be included once it is finalized.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, I know, it's wonderful. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move directly to a vote. The vote is on the motion to adopt the 2024 City of Albany Commission on Human Rights Annual Report with the one revision that we mentioned. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Ayes have it, and the motion carries. We will now move on to the 2024 Annual Report of Complaints, which has also been previously sent out and I believe is also attached. That's where we have the access, right? Yeah. Do we don't have that information just yet. Do we? Oh, not really. Yeah. So this is a list of complaints that were received, and I know we've talked on and off about this, and we're working on getting the investigation committee the proper training, but this is what we have so far from 2024. Are there any questions, comments?
No, I don't have a question on the report. My question is on the training. Were we able to reach anyone at the New York State Division of Human Rights?
We did meet with the folks from the Division of Human Rights. They do not provide training. They recommended that we reach out to somebody else, an attorney or something like that. So we are in the process of doing that. We asked them if they could recommend any local commission that was doing a good job that we could talk to, and they said, I don't know, talk to me. So that wasn't incredibly helpful.
Right.
We did also connect with the president of the Common Council for the city of Binghamton.
Okay.
They are also trying to get training. They
They were looking to us,
we're
weren't they?
looking to us to get training, so we have agreed to kind of collaborate with them. If we can get a good training, we may be able to, share resources with them. But that's where we are with that, and we're reaching out to some local attorneys to try to get some better training. We did get it in the budget, so we're moving forward with that.
Can I ask a question? If another agency, a state agency has an investigation bureau or department, would that help us? They do training, does it have to be human capital?
Because it's only geared toward what they do. Like I was an
So you were
investigator for
investigating,
Office of Victim Services for 17 years, but that was only geared towards what we do with the police department,
Right.
in the
So-
court, and it just.
Like civil service, Department of Civil Service will be able to help us with this because they do these types of investigations also, similar. Or has an agency, anti-discrimination agency that would be able to help us because they do investigations. So it doesn't just have to be human rights, but I think that's where we started.
Well, because I was wondering, because state ed has an investigation unit in which they
Right.
have, it's very thorough, and they have agents that go out, and they have a whole process. And we don't even have a process, so would it be okay to get something on paper or a framework about a process starting out somewhere with the agencies that are out there doing the investigation? That's what I think I was asking.
And if you've got contacts with people who might be able to help us, we can certainly work with them, but our enabling legislation is very broad. So we don't actually know exactly what we have the authority to do, and the State Division of Human Rights has let us and Binghamton know that we don't actually have the authority to investigate.
Oh.
So we really need
So we don't have,
an attorney.
so we
to
don't have the right
to tell us exactly what we can or can't do. So, yeah, we have been helping people mostly who are outside of the jurisdiction, so it doesn't,
Right.
we wouldn't have the authority to do anything with them anyway, but we have been helping people who have called, with filling out the online complaint form for the state, so we could do the same thing. We could, maybe have our commissioners trained to help people fill out the state form. So we don't know what
Liaison.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the city's legal department doesn't have any avenue to give us information on?
No, we have
Right,
rights.
counsel.
Yeah, right.
Right, yeah.
So when we actually get a complaint, what are we to do with it if we can't investigate it?
Sounds like we are like a pass-through to get it to the right place, but then we just need to be trained how to do that then.
Right,
We
and
really
how
don't
to
do
do paperwork.
investigations at all, so that's a misnomer, so we should not be doing
Right,
investigations.
so then our committee, our subcommittee shouldn't be investigations then, but that's my question, I guess that's my point. If we get a complaint, does it actually come to the commissioner, or is that something
It's a
that?
dilemma because that responsibility is ingrained in the code. So
Right.
when they created this commission, they created it with the intent that we would also be conducting investigations, but that hasn't been formally appraised, like infrastructure-wise. So that's what we're actually literally doing in real time,
Right.
trying to set up an infrastructure to fulfill that aspect.
So in the meantime, the most that we really can do is be a pass-through and then referring to that until that gets caught up to what the ledge actually says.
So maybe it should be an addendum, say that we refer, we review and refer, for right now, do an addendum so that it reflects that.
And it's something we are considering to propose.
So then who's doing the referrals right now? So it's your poor department that actually gets.
Call my phone number, so I.
It's for you then? Okay, then you
So
end up
I
getting.
answer the phone, all of these complaints that have come in have been.
You had funneled them out.
Yeah, so it's really just providing resources and referring.
I think what's maybe also is it possible for us to see the code that describes what our responsibility?
Yeah, it's online.
Okay.
If you go to the city website,
Review it together and just, so.
Oh, we can, you're saying it's on the website?
it's on the website,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
look at the information, yeah.
Because I see that there were like a few that were from the city of Albany,
Right.
like 4 of them, but then there
Yeah.
were 21 of them
That were,
that were
Outside
from,
jurisdiction.
outside of the jurisdiction, are we treating them differently depending on what areas they come from?
Well, it really depends on what they're asking for. The ones that were within the city were outside of our purview. So, if somebody calls and says they're a resident of the city of Albany and they're having trouble with housing, then we refer them to the City of Albany Housing Advocate. So if there were something that came to through my phone number for the commission, and it was somebody who had an employment discrimination complaint and they were in the City of Albany, that's when we'd have to get legal involved, because we don't know what to do
Right.
with those specific complaints, because they fall within our code that gives us general jurisdiction as a commission to do something with it. But we need to make sure that we are staying within our legal authority. So when and if something comes through that does meet that very narrow definition, then we will work with Corporation Counsel to make sure that as a body, this commission gets what they need to help with resourcing or referring or whatever we needed to do with that.
So all of what I'm hearing, the burden is written for us, but we have no jurisdiction really over it. And then the complaints come in, we don't even know the outcome of the complaints. So,
We just refer them
you know,
out.
Refer them out. Right now, they've all been.
I know we have it now in front of us where it was sent to, but what was the outcome?
Yeah.
Because see, the thing is, a lot of people, they don't connect the dots. They, oh, that was a phone call, who followed up with it? So I sent this to you on August the 1st, 2020, and what happened with it? We don't know.
We don't know.
So then it looks like we dropped the ball.
Yes and no.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah.
You might be able to know the outcome is, you're not gonna be able to call the state agency and say, can you give me the outcome of the complaint?
Yeah, 'cause there's some privacy issues on
No,
there.
but I'm saying at some point, we should know that it was taken care of, like I received this email for this, and this was taken care of, because when the person that made the complaint comes back and say, hey, I sent this to the City of Albany, and there was no follow-up.
I would agree with that. Like, I think with referrals that we're sending to the New York State Division of Human Rights, our overall umbrella organization, not having as much details, that makes sense to me, because we know that it's been pushed up to a higher level of oversight. But referrals that we're sending to Department of Neighborhood Services and Housing or other sort of lateral organizations, it's very difficult to know, like, what was the actual outcome, because they're calling, once again, us, thinking that they're gonna have an intervention at the city level from the Commission of Human Rights, but they're actually being sent back to the organization that they may have had issues with to begin with. So I think that something has to be done in terms of to ensure that there's follow-up on whatever issues that happen, with especially lateral organizations.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Right.
I don't know if I agree with that, because if, you get the email, you send the email back with the referral, with the sender's, email attached to them. So they know it got referred to somebody else, and there's an explanation saying that it's not under our preview, but I'm sending it to so-and-so, with the email sitting there. So there is follow-through with the sender. It has to be, because you just send it there and you don't know what happened. Going back to the follow-up, what you guys are talking about, there's some privacy issues once it gets to the other agency. So we really can't go back, so now what happened now? It's up to them to either get back to the commission saying, thank you very much for the follow-through, nothing happened. We should not be reaching out. I think there's some legalities with that, when it comes through with that. I know from state aid, we couldn't do it.
There's nothing that requires the state agency to tell us to get back on anything.
But they're also saying about the local ones too, and I even think with the local preview, it's up to the person with the complaint to let us know what happened. Us following through, I think we're on some gray area that we need to be careful with
I don't
that.
think that it's meant to ask what happened, but just to say that this agency, Rosie sends back an email to her to say, hey, received, followed up.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm thinking, because, for example, if I go to, let's say, Albany Med, just I'm using an example, Albany Med Medical Center to get services, and I feel like my human rights were violated in some way, shape, or form. And I already complained to Albany Med, and I didn't get the results that I was looking for. Then I come to the Albany Human Rights Commission, and I'm looking for follow-up, and they send me right back to the organization that I already complained to. To me, that's not showing follow-up. I'm not saying we need to know the details of their case, but at least knowing that, it has been sent up to the chain of command at Albany Med, and that the person's issues are being addressed. We don't need to know the ins and outs of the actual.
I'm not sure that we
You
have.
know-
You don't have authority for that.
No, you
You don't
don't.
have authority
No.
for any entity to tell you.
Tell her what
the outcome
happened.
of a-
We're not looking for the outcome.
No, you're telling them what, even if it got received.
That it was
I do know-
that's a
in
courtesy, you can ask for a courtesy, but they don't have to extend it to us.
I would like us to ask for a courtesy, like,
I-
to know.
I
that
do know
we're doing our due diligence.
in the past, so I would actually sit, like myself and Chair Moore at the time would sit with, it was Jasmine at the time, and she would go over, we didn't have a whole lot of complaints, but she would go through the complaints with us, and we would actually talk about what was done for each complaint, and like if we had information about follow-up and sort of. I don't know if that's something that we can arrange for the investigation committee to do.
As a subcommittee, that
As
makes
a
sense.
subcommittee, I feel like that would make
Yeah.
sense.
But I'm
makes
just
sense.
saying, like, for me, as an investigator, even working with a state agency, we got a complaint, and we forwarded it on to another agency, and they say, nobody never got in touch with me. Even in the email, it was forwarded, they saw it was forwarded, even in the email, they would say, nobody reached out to me from this agency that you sent my information to. There's nothing we could do about it, right, because we already forwarded. But when they got on the news, all they talked about was the agency that they sent it to, because they didn't send it to the follow-up agency, they sent it to us.
So our referral is informational, so we send back to the complainant the information that they need to contact the agencies.
And then it's on them to.
And it's on them to do that.
So it's not us contacting the
Right.
agency on
So
that.
that, with one exception, is we did get a voicemail from a gentleman who escalated very quickly from being just a complainant to threatening the lives of the state police in his particular area.
Mhm.
It was outside of Albany. It was somebody with a complaint against a number of people, including the state police. I didn't call him back. I forwarded that directly to the state police complaint line.
Makes sense.
I didn't want him to have my information.
Get it.
Yeah, but that was.
Get it, we're responsible for it as a commission.
Well, I think what would be helpful too, if we could see the language that you use when you send it back to the person who filed the complaint.
Yeah, so I would be happy to go through with the.
Bring it back to the investigation committee. That is a conversation we need to be having in the investigation committee.
To help with that, so that we,
Yeah.
they understand
Mhm.
where you are.
Yeah.
One more question though. So in the code, is it written that you send the person who's complaining back to the organization?
No.
That's
We don't have to
something
do
that needs
anything,
happen.
right,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's outside of our jurisdiction, we do not have to respond to it.
On the same
Yeah,
page about
exactly.
specifically what the code says in terms of.
Our interpretation of it.
Yeah, rather than our interpretation of it.
Yeah, the code is on the website, it is public information. Ricey said that he would forward the link to it.
Thank you, Ricey.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I know that you're gonna be working to make the code match what we're actually doing.
Good luck.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. So
All right.
can we move it to, we're
Sure.
gonna move this to investigations then?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion specifically about adopting the, complaints reports? Hearing none. All right, hearing none, we'll move directly to a vote. The vote is on the motion to adopt the 2024 Commission on Human Rights complaint report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries and motion has been adopted. We will now move on to the 2025 Gala and Awards Reception. I can give you an update. We talked, some of us talked on our subcommittee call. I know not everybody could be there because I know. Get it. So we were hoping as a committee to move up the date from, we were in June last year, and we all had talked about June is a very challenging month because it's Pride Month. There's Juneteenth, there's a lot of things going on. So I believe that we had talked about proposing a date in April is where we were hoping to go, so that it's better timing for, to hold an event. We were hoping to do that. I don't know if anyone has a specific date, but we did want to look at the calendar and see if we could come up with a date here at this meeting so that we could move forward with putting together, call for nominations, a save the date for dignitaries and, additional guests. Typically, we've held it, I believe, on a Wednesday. I want to say the past ones have been a Wednesday. Everybody quite remembers. I can't remember, I did 5 minutes ago.
June 13th, I don't remember the day of the
June
week.
13th. But if anybody's looking at their April calendars, or if there are any specific days, weeks that we should stay away from, I do know most schools are on spring break the week of the 14th, and I personally won't be here the week of the 7th.
So you probably should look at the week of the 21st.
That, I think, would work. Maybe if we wanted to do a Wednesday, it would be the 23rd, but we might want to pick a backup date because we do have to contact the Hollow to see if they are available.
So 23rd or the 30th?
How does that sound for folks?
How does that line up with the, school vacation?
So the
The week
school
before
is,
that.
yeah, the school vacation week is the 14th through the 18th,
Okay.
Yeah,
because we don't want to do it then.
no. So 23rd and the 30th, that's both the Wednesdays.
Both Wednesdays.
So we will be missing a meeting for those 2 months, for that month.
Um,
Oh, no, that's not our meeting day.
Yeah, no, that's not our meeting date. Our meeting date for that month is the 16th.
Oh, okay, that works for
Yeah.
me then.
I just sent over the link, so.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
So, so Autumn, can we look at the 23rd and the 30th as a backup? Or when you contact the call, great. The next thing, in regards to the gala is, we do have a draft of the, I know it's in here, that's all right. We have a draft of the reception, and it was really, really nice. They did a wonderful job last year. So I'm thinking that we're just going to update, the safety date with current information once that all gets back to us. And then we will also, Autumn, were you able to find the nomination information? You have that too. Perfect.
Yeah, please don't throw these away. We got all your past gala stuff in here.
Do you have, sorry.
The call,
Yes.
there's a sample call for nomination.
Hi, there it is.
Yep.
I have a question on the past recipient list, and Rosie, please correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we also award Eva Bass and or her organization?
Bridge the Gap.
Yes, Ms. Karen, I don't see her, I mean, but I don't know what year that was either.
That was-
Right here.
Not last year, it was the
That was your
year
first
before, yeah.
Yeah,
What year?
Bridge the Gap, so that was gonna be 2022.
it was Bridge the Gap, and then Eva, we also gave her.
Eva Bass.
Eva Bass, yeah.
Is she with that organization?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
But you guys think it was 22?
Whatever year we had it right here. there was-
Yeah, because it was Paul, Tabitha.
And-
Oh, no, maybe it wasn't, it was a village. She was here, she was here as a village. That's what it is.
Both of those, Bridge the Gap and the Village.
That's what it was, so it's a village.
So she was representing a village?
Yes,
But
Because-
something tells me that we also gave it to her
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
individual.
that might have been a previous year. I know that year it was for the organization that she was running. Because they only gave out, I think she was the one organization, and they gave out 3 individuals or 4 individuals. Yeah, because it was Jamela Anderson, Paul as a person, Tabitha as a person, and A Village was the one organization that they had selected.
Okay.
Are there any further questions about previous, I'm guessing 2015, 2016 were not awarded? Only, let's
What
see,
happened to them?
and 2019.
I have a question.
This is what we have.
That was just-
We've changed staff multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, apologies, but if you have information that we can add to our record, please.
Things up, but I know we definitely had reception, but I don't remember. Aaron probably has it because he was the chair that year. I'll see if I can find some.
Yeah, you guys can always reach out to me in between meetings if there's anything I can do or add.
Actually, no, 2019 was Brenda. I'll see if I can find something.
You had a question?
No,
No?
no, I can't find it.
Oh. Okay.
So on the call for nominations, there's a sample, there, I'm gonna draw you guys' attention to that. Aside from updating dates and things, is the meat, so to speak, of this, call what you're looking for?
Oh.
Yeah, that's something.
And this at the bottom, this is our new language that's on the pamphlet and on.
Yes.
the website.
Yes.
This is those, nothing like that.
So we're talking about this right now?
Yes.
Is it gonna include like the dates and when things are due and all that good stuff?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to establish, I think this was a posting, but I don't want to step over Bailey because I don't know the facts and figures behind this. I'm mostly trying to get dates and timelines or your expectations for these items so that I can send that back to her, so that she can work with you all on what you'd like graphically or whatever. But, yes, that's why I say, is it mostly right? Is there
Yeah.
something else you wanted added or subtracted, which you can absolutely communicate with me
You did
about?
such a wonderful job.
Yeah, we went through this last year.
Yes,
It's like, oh
with
my
a
God.
fine-tooth
Yes,
comb.
we did.
This
Oh.
date at the bottom is really, in order to be considered nominations, gonna be received, it's small, but it's there.
So position is 30. Well, we gotta change that because.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you all want to do like, sorry, Tom, do you want to do like a month in advance, 3 weeks in advance?
Because then that means by the April meeting, we would need to be choosing someone.
But then that means that we would have to get this out ASAP, because now
Yeah.
we're going into February.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, that's what so, can we say by, because I know we did end up extending last year, but can we say maybe by March 30th, would that?
I think that's too late.
Yeah, that's too late. That's fine.
Yeah, because that order is class and everything, so it either has to be at the end of February, which February is short month, so we have to get this out ASAP,
What about March 15th?
or somewhere before March 15th.
Maybe we can do like February 14th, because that will coincide with another holiday and people might remember.
So is February 14th the send-out date?
So,
Or is that-
we're never gonna get enough, we're not gonna
That's,
get them.
February 14th is too soon to get nomination.
Because I know last year,
It's too soon?
February 14th?
to get all the nominations.
Oh, no,
We're right on top of that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think, when are we sending it out? We'll start with that.
Right, that's.
As soon as we
I think
confirm.
it's out ASAP.
Yeah,
As soon as, we gotta confirm the dates, but as soon as we confirm the dates with the hollow, then, I mean, there's very minimal anything that needs to be changed besides the date. So we can get that posted as soon, like,
Okay.
within the week.
Have it coincide with the hollow?
Do we really need the date of the event though, in order to send out the call for nominations?
No, I mean, that's an excellent point, yeah, we can just put it
We
out.
can just put this out with a, whatever, close of business date and whatever the date of the gala, the award ceremony, the date of award ceremony, because we want to get this out.
We don't have a date of the gala yet, right?
it's gonna,
Right,
hopefully
but
it's
that's
the 23rd or
that
30th.
date in order to send out the call for nominations.
No, but I
We
was
want-
just asking, do we actually have a date?
Just propose the
Just
23rd
propose.
and 30th.
But we need,
All right, I have that.
so we know it's not, we want it to be the last 2 weeks potentially of April, so if we have a due date by like April 1st or 2nd, that gives us time, like 3 whole weeks to get it together.
Is that enough time to order plaques?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can have plaques open.
it is, but I'm telling you, that seems like it's way too close to,
I agree.
for us, yeah,
So go back to March?
yeah, March.
Yeah,
What
I
about-
think it should be before March 15th. Anything after March 15th is not considered.
So,
Too late?
you want to do it March 15th?
I would recommend.
For the act, for this, like, let's say we finalize what day we want to buy today, they just didn't sell it early as tomorrow.
Right, but the event, let's just say the event is the 23rd, so at least maybe 4 weeks, but not 5 or 6 weeks out, we need that much time?
No.
I mean, we got to go through the nomination,
He has to contact.
we have to, and then they have to be chosen, and we have to get the plaque.
Right, last time we
So-
did it in the meeting, it was like, we didn't have a lot of applications, we had to kind of,
So today, at this point, I'll entertain a motion to select a specific date for nominations to be due.
March 15th.
Moved by Commissioner Nitrish Alexander to have nominations due March 15th, 2025. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Love. All those in favor?
March 15th is Saturday.
doesn't make a difference.
No? Okay.
So then you get, so what's that?
Doesn't make a difference, it's all electronic.
Yeah, it's all done. All those in favor?
Well, wait, you do got to consider that, because it says close of business, so it's a Saturday.
Yeah, 14th, you got to be 14th.
Yeah.
At 14th.
The 14th.
14th. Okay, now,
Okay,
Do we still have an event subcommittee?
yes.
Is this not something they should?
We just, I'll be quite honest, we just wanted to make sure that the date would
Okay.
work for everybody.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, but we'll take care of everything else.
Okay.
So the vote is on the motion to have, all applications for the, awards due on March 14th, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Me.
Motion carries. And thank you, Autumn, and whoever else helped to get all this information together, because this is really helpful, because I know last year we struggled trying to be like,
Really
did they
good.
get an award, did they not get an award?
One more job, you
That's
all can
wonderful.
thank Bailey. This is last year as a template. And I just want to direct your attention to the last couple pages on this, gala-related items. Please take a look at that menu. Again, the events committee can help you guys send all that stuff up through them, us. So that's myself, Valerie, Tom, Talia, and Katrina here. So, yeah, just send it if you have ideas. Obviously, we're gonna keep in mind this, the Hollow deals with the vegan and vegetarian, so should be able to meet all your food needs. But, yeah, please don't think you don't have a say in what food is at your reception. That's why it's
And last year, I will say, they did a wonderful job.
They did, they
And
really
And the
did.
year before. It was-
They've always done.
Yeah, every year we've had it there, it's been. All right, at this point, we will move on to an update, well, we know we don't have an update from the investigations committee, but we're working on it. And so we will move to an update from communications and social media, if there's anything new to share.
So today, if you notice, if you go to our Facebook page, we now have our first post that we've ever had in, I think, almost a year and a half. So we have the MLK walk that is happening on Monday. It's on our Facebook page. I just got permissions on either Monday or Tuesday to be able to post stuff. I posted it, and so we can go from here, and I'll entertain any suggestions in terms of how you like to get information to me. I'm very flexible, so just let me know.
Thank you so much. And I know Richard is no longer on the committee, so it is you
Just me and
and,
me.
just you and you?
For now.
Well, you're doing such a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the update. Moving on to any other announcements and/or discussion, I will just remind everybody that we are very excited to be participating in the Martin Luther King Walk, which is taking place on the 20th. And we are meeting, Autumn, at
concourse. So
the concourse. At what time did you want to?
It's at 10:30. Step off is at 11, so try to keep you guys warm, is what Keith,
Yes.
Keith Morales was saying.
Remember
Keep
that.
you guys warm, and then, you step off, and then you, obviously, just please return the banner
Banner, yep.
to the, our event staff.
Absolutely.
And the rest is up to you.
Should be very,
Absolutely, and if you, yeah,
We're gonna be outside.
absolutely.
Sure.
You know, wear something on it.
It's really warm.
No one said you didn't have, you can wear something under or over
Do
it.
you know if they'll be serving hot cocoa or something hot?
Yes.
Yes, last year they did, which was great.
Our event staff is providing, I think, some refreshments, and I think OGS too.
We're gonna talk about that, yeah. Yes, please.
We're supposed to be doing a Black History program, and.
So that's what,
Oh.
we're also good at that.
Oh,
Go, please,
okay.
feel free.
I had recommended that we do the Pan Health because of what they do across the country and the fact that we have a very active and very vital Pan Health in, the Albany area. So, I had talked to Benita Lewis, who is the vice president, and she just wanted some more information. I wanted to find out a little bit about the date. The format of it's not gonna be a problem. I wanted each of the different orgs to actually participate. There's 9 orgs. Not all of them are actually active in the capital region, but 7 of the 9 are. And so they would actually have a piece of the program itself. I told her about an hour, but the general information is to get the community understanding how significant the Divine Nine is in the Black community, and the fact that they are doing a little bit of everything. They adopt highways, they're cleaning, there's alum, there's undergrad chapters, and the fact that it's national, not just in our area. So they said, get something in writing. I need a date per se. I told them the very last part of February to give everybody some time, so.
So why don't we look at the calendar again? Because we do have to put in a request for the rotunda.
I told her it more likely would be during the week, and that it would be in the rotunda, and I told her it's usually light refreshments like cookies and something that they have, and that, it would be about an hour from top to bottom, maybe a little bit more than that.
So I would suggest that we look at the last week of February, as the week before that is also winter recess for a lot of
Right,
schools in the
it
area.
is, yep.
So any week, the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, somewhere in there.
So should we get 2 or 3 days to find out when the rotunda might be available?
When, Autumn, do you have any idea what weekday would work better?
I don't, that's gonna reside with the clerk, but what does need to be submitted is the Rotunda application, which is attached to a prior email, but I can absolutely resend that. There will be no fee for you all to use the Rotunda, but
Well, you gotta put in the
all of
application.
that, yes, all of that does need to, and I'll resend it right back out to you so you know what's required. Quite honestly, I don't remember I did read the form, I don't remember what's on it at this point.
Sure.
But they need, I think 20 or 30 days. My recommendation is to have that form submitted to the clerk by the 1st of February.
If we can get it done by the end of this week, I was fine with that.
anytime.
Or beginning of next week, but she just needed a date.
Okay, so why don't
Can
we?
we find out when it's available first, and then I can give the date, because they still need to know a date, the org does, Pan Health.
And I will say this, they only meet once a month, they meet that first Thursday of the month, so that's when they would vote on it. So the sooner that we can have this sorted out, the easier it'll be for them to make a decision.
So we want to move that case. Okay, great. Thank you for following up on that.
Oh, no
It
problem.
sounds like a really interesting event.
So I'll tell her that we're looking someplace on, the 25th, between the 25th and the 27th, that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just gotta get some information out to her. Okay, got it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns, announcement, testimonials?
In terms of marketing on are you guys gonna put together like a flyer or something like that that I can send out on the website?
You looking at me? I can work with Pan Health to see what they wanna do, or, I don't know, I don't do graphics, I'm more of a organizer.
Okay.
Graphics, so,
I can try to help with it, but
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily the rep.
yeah, we'll figure something out to get
Yeah,
something on behalf,
absolutely,
because it really
because we
should come
want
from the
to
city
promote
commission
Yeah.
with a guest speaker or guest, with the Pan Health. Okay, we'll figure something out.
Excellent. Now we need to get it all.
Stand that gray matter.
All right. We have reached the, conclusion of our meeting. At this point, I will, we have one more.
I know our last meeting, there was a few recommendations in the in terms of how we might, intensify, ramp up our evaluation of the equity agenda by partnering with SUNY Albany Task Force,
Yes.
who have multiple research scientists and academics that can really, provide a different lens in terms of, the evaluation component. So, I did go back and I spoke to the Albany Task Force. They are so excited to hear from us. They have made space on both their February and March agendas. They meet, on February 6th and March 6th. And so basically, we have a half an hour for either of those dates, and they would love to hear from, either the mayor or perhaps Ms. Salmon or someone else who's has a executive role in the direction of the equity agenda evaluation process. So they can figure out really how they can participate in evaluating it.
Would that be Dorsey?
Dorsey would be wonderful, Dr. Dorsey Clear, she would be
Yeah.
wonderful. I know she wrote,
The enabling legislation.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why.
So if we're looking for an explanation of the enabling legislation, Dorsey might be the most appropriate, but we'd have to get on her calendar. That would have to be a request from this body to her, because the equity agenda report is the report for this body. So if we want changes to that, we being you, if you all want changes to that, that has to be driven by this body. That's not something that can come from the Commissioner of Administrative Services or even the mayor. That report is your report. So if you want changes to that report, that has to come from this body.
so we don't want changes to the report, and the reason why I was thinking of, Ms. Salmon or the mayor is because we're not necessarily looking for an overview of the legislation is clear. We're looking for an overview of the process to evaluate whether or not we are meeting the demands of the legislation and in compliance with the legislation, which is something that we sort of we play a role in. And so I know that, Ms. Salmon and then also the mayor they both have a vested interest in making sure that we are carrying out the spirit of the legislation. And so I think that's why those two people came up first. Dr. Clear, she would be able to give a wonderful oversight. I know she's also audited the Human Rights Commission before as well. So I think she would be able to give a great, high-level purview, but we're looking for more so the operationalization of evaluating the equity agenda and how, SUNY can be helpful in that process.
I'm confused then, because the way you just explained it makes it turn on a little bit, because we're asking the mayor and Ms. Salmon to explain a process that's really our process.
Right.
So, I think the first conversation needs to be between Ms. Salmon, the mayor, and us before we go to a third party to go out, because there's no understanding internally why we're going external for it. So I think the first conversation has to be with us to make sure that we're processing. Pardon me?
Identify areas of opportunity,
Right.
which you did a really good job when we were going through it.
Right, so I think we have to kind of ironclad that before we give to a third party to start looking for it, because we haven't had that conversation internally yet, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly.
Okay, so when you say, we're looking for external sources, what do you mean by that?
We're looking for external eyes to look at something that internally we haven't had the conversation between the mayor's office, and the city and us about the,
Processes, really.
right, about the processes. So
Okay,
I'm
I
just
understand,
confused, that the internal processes haven't been
Has it been solidified yet?
with us,
With
and,
us.
right, so before we would want somebody to look at those processes, we're not set yet. So it's almost like when you have an audit,
Mhm.
I'm thinking of our audit, we need to get ourselves together before we have the auditor come in and do something. Our stuff isn't tight yet, so to me, before I get to the auditor, I want to make sure our processes are as tight as we possibly can, and we understand it, and then have it go out.
And invite someone else to the
Yes,
table.
so actually look at it, really fine tune it better, because I'm still lost about certain things. Now I'm gonna have a third party looking at it. Yeah, so I'm just I'm confused.
So as a body, we've been looking at the equity agenda for several years now. So, I don't think that the Albany Task Force wants to look at it and pull it apart. I think they just want to have a better understanding of what that process looks like. and they want a better idea of what the intention of the legislation is, and then how we as a body, move forward with looking at it, reviewing it, getting feedback from the various departments. The level of their intervention is really up to us. We have full control here in terms of, what feedback we take, what we ask for. So, again, it's just a suggestion, because I know we've been doing this for quite a long time now, almost 8 years at least. And I know that it keeps coming up time and time again that maybe in our personal lives, we have the capacity to really, be research scientists and review this and go through all the data. But as a commission, we don't have we don't necessarily have all of the expertise that we need right at the table, or the time to go through each and every one of the data charts, or even, do additional research in order to support the report. And so, it's a recommendation. It's up to the, commission in terms of.
So what I'm hearing is it almost sounds like this body would help us to be better able to understand the processes. Because we did hear from a number of the departments, and they explained that there is a lot of information out there, and every department's doing something different. So it sounds like we would want them to step in and be like, hey, kind of help us understand what the best way to go about it is. Are we doing it? And is there data that we're missing, or are there better collection methods out there? So that we can make sure that the data that we're getting and the report is actually valid.
Yeah, because so far the legislation only outlines, I think, one measure, one index for, I think it's the buildings, not the buildings department, what is the street department?
Yeah, that's
DGS, no, it's not DGS, it's the.
Engineering.
engineering.
There we go. Whereas they say that 30% of all of the roads have to be
Right.
within functional, condition. There is no other, metrics written into the legislation. So we have a body of people who are experts in sort of developing these things and looking at things from an academic perspective. And so, they're there to help. It's up to us. I think that having, additional sets of eyes to collaborate with us is always a better idea than trying to do things alone.
No, always having a filter. I just think then maybe Dorsey might be the right person for questions about it versus having the mayor, because I figure that I'm not comfortable with the mayor or, who's the other person?
Commissioner.
Oh, Ms. Salmon. I'm not comfortable with them, with that, because it's really our stuff, you know?
Right.
And I want to make sure our processes are really tight when it comes to reviewing, the different, I don't say agencies, but the different, departments. So I think maybe Dorsey would be the right person to come in case they have questions from the research. So maybe that might be the way to go. But I think coming the mayor and them, I think it becomes adversarial. I'm not comfortable with that for some reason. I'm not saying it correctly, but I don't think.
No, you're saying that.
I don't think they're the two right people to be doing that, for this process anyway.
So it would have to be, this body, the commission, would have to be clear about what we are asking Dr. Flers to do.
We want her, I think it's,
Invite her
right, I think
to-
she would be the one to be able to explain the whole thing around the equity and what was written and, the umbrella part of it, not the processes, because they might have questions for us. We should be answering the questions about the processes versus anybody else. But she should be able to explain, like, the path that we got to this, correct? How we got
How we
there.
got there.
What was her intent and written in reservation, is that what we're on?
Not the intent, but explain where it is within the document. She probably can live and breathe it better than anybody at this point, correct? As knowing the document itself.
She probably knows, and she wrote it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
She wrote it,
So,
so she would have
right,
the knowledge.
So
The legislation.
how she got there.
Or where it is, maybe the intent, how she might have a vision of how it worked, whatever. We're the body that's supposed to then interpret that, correct? So then it becomes us to be there with her. Like,
Right.
this is the intent, and we're the spokes.
Right.
Like, I got it done.
And can we all actually sit there and say that we understood every single aspect of it?
Well, I'm trying to understand if she is the appropriate person, right? Because this was her legislation when she was in city council. Now
Right.
she's in a different office, so is the appropriate entity the city council that we should be looking to speak with?
I think what we need to do, I think there's a few steps here. I think we need to first just be very clear about what we're looking for, the outside agency to do and what we would like to see ultimately, and then from there, figure out, okay, who do we need to talk to figure out what pieces that we need to present to the agency in order for them to partner with us in the way that they want to. And I'm not sure that we have, clarity around what we would like for them to do. And to be very honest, those specific processes, because there are so many different processes for each department. So this year was really helpful to hear from departments, but we don't have anything in writing. It's like, this is how we do this, and this is the specific thing that we want to see. So I think, and I kind of agree, with, Vice Chair, Young Wilkins, is I think we just need to be very clear and specific about what we'd like to see, and also have the understanding so that we can, as a body, answer questions about the processes.
Okay, that's fair.
What I do think might help, is I think it would be wonderful to invite, Dr. Clears to a meeting to kind of help us gain some more information around, you know, what the intent was, what we want to see, what, you know, the original thought was, and then maybe have an internal discussion about, what we still need as a commission to grow and understand the processes, and start thinking about, like, how can this outside agency help us out? Because I love the idea, and I
We
think...
have to do it, I think we
Yeah.
have to do it.
And I think you brought up several valid points, and there were a lot of great questions when we were going over with the different departments, and I'd love to see us make progress on that. And I'm not sure that we're,
I just don't think we're
Clear
in a
enough,
position, because I'm very confused. And also, in that, document, there's about education, and we don't touch education.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, I need clarity of what's going on, because education, hello, I'm here.
right,
Let me-
exactly, sure.
You know, let me know what I can do, but we don't even touch it. So before we can go there, I think we need to have some clarity and misunderstanding.
Well, and you know, it's so interesting because education was actually one of the topics that was brought up during a previous meeting. And, you know, they brought up the fact, well, you know, the city of Albany does not oversee the education within the city of Albany. So, you know, how does that work with as far as the equity agenda is concerned? And someone mentioned, they were like, well, you know, not all education happens within the school system. And so the parts of education that happen that are fostered by the city, whether it's related to summer youth employment program, whether it's related to, like the Red Bookshelf or other sorts of educational components, those things are areas that we can look at, we can talk about, and we can figure out, are there measures to figure out whether or not we're successful
Right.
with those endeavors. So, so even having that perspective was refreshing, because the longer the equity agenda kind of sits amongst us without fresh new eyes, you know, we're gonna keep having the same conversations. But I think it's a good idea to bring perhaps Dr. Clears to our meeting so that we can be on the same footing about what the scope and the purview and spirit of the legislation is. And then perhaps from there, we can look at having her come also to one of these
Yeah.
meetings.
Absolutely.
So should I tell them to keep open both February and March, or should I just tell them to keep open?
maybe
open
March.
February, yeah.
So I'll tell them to keep open March, and then what I'll do is, just so that we can all be comfortable, I'll say, we just want a general overview of the equity agenda and what the spirit of the legislation was when it was first conceptualized.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
That sounds-
Okay.
For the record, I just want to go on record saying that I disagree with that approach. I think that the appropriate entity or body that we should be addressing first is the Common Council, because this was passed in the Common Council. And I get that we want to ask Dr. Tibbs, because this is her legislation, but she was in a different role when she started, when she put forth the legislation. So all the process I agree with, but I think that the appropriate body that we should be addressing first is the Common Council.
Do you have any recommendations of a specific council person that you think could be
Richard Conti.
Richard?
Oh, that's an easy one.
Yep.
Okay, so,
Maybe do both.
I was gonna,
You
that
do both.
sounds really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
we extend an invitation to both Richard Conti and,
Dr.
Dr. Clears.
Clears.
And he'll have notes.
Yes.
Would you be okay with that? Yeah. Have them both, but, okay.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that's a
So
great
do you
idea.
need to move that to a vote?
I'm open to...
Move.
All right, it has been moved, to invite Dr. Clears and, Councilperson Richard Conti to our next commission meeting to discuss, the equity agenda legislation. Is there a second?
With the follow-up meeting with the Open
With a follow-up meeting with the Albany
Task Force.
Task Force in March. It has been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Because we kind of discussed first.
I just want to say, y'all are so smart, and y'all made this very complicated, idea just so much simpler and easier, so thank you so much for that.
All right, we will now move to a vote. All those in favor of inviting, Councilperson Richard Conti and Dr. Clears to our next meeting to discuss the equity agenda and, help move us towards the meeting with the Albany Task Force in March, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
I'm gonna follow up with you all as a group to ask maybe Rosie or whomever, what specific language do you want in this invitation to, Conti and Clears? So that I can send that on your behalf from your mailbox, which I did for the other presenters too, So,
I'll share specific language with, chair, vice chair, and then they can.
absolutely, yeah, whatever it takes, and then, I will do my best to reach out to them. Obviously, it's gonna be scheduled depending on their end, and, Rosie, on the follow-up meeting with the SUNY folks, is that something you wanna coordinate? Is that how I understand the follow-up is
Yes.
with SUNY? So I don't have that information. If you would like to follow up or loop me in on that, once we have Richard and Dorsey here, please do let me know. I don't wanna lose the ball on this. I don't wanna lose the ball, so I need your cooperation to help keep us all in the loop.
Is there any further business?
Just related to that, we are going to start surveying the departments to start the data for next year's
Yes.
equity agenda report in February.
Excellent.
So, and we'll get as much data as we can. It's gonna look, unless there's some direction from this body to do something different, it's gonna look the same way.
Yes.
In the past, we'll gather all the data. We have, one of our project managers sits and goes through all the data and condenses it down into the report that you all know and love. Yep, so that is gonna start in February, and we'll move forward
Which
until we
was
get some
wonderful.
direction.
This helped us out so much last year.
Yeah, it really did. That's
All
it.
right. Hearing no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, moved by the chair and seconded by Commissioner Love. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Hello? Leaving in like 5 minutes, okay, bud?